Hey everyone, welcome back. This is episode 44, and I am glad you are here. The title of episode 44 is the genius behind making mistakes. So I'm glad you're here, and I truly hope that this podcast blesses you in some way, some fashion, some form. So we all know the new year is here. I mean, this is my first episode of 2024. The last episode I did was a few weeks ago. I was able to interview my 17-year-old son. We talked all about the things that teenagers truly want from their parents, from their families, what they're looking for in this world, all the confusion. It was a great episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back to that one. But welcome to episode 44, my first episode of 2024. And just saying that out loud sounds really strange and incredible at the same time. So let's just dive in. In our culture, we gravitate towards New Year's resolutions. The new year is upon us. What's your resolution going to be? What are you going to do? What are you going to change? I mean, towards all the goals and all the things that will improve us and hopefully improve our lives and hopefully for the long run. And these are not bad things. I'm not bashing that. It's not a bad thing to have a goal. Like I coach many women on creating goals and achieving goals. And it's a great thing. Goals are what set me out to, well, that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm in front of you doing a podcast and why I'm a Christian life coach because of goals. However, many of us want to do better. We want to feel better. We want to take action on these goals and in these dreams, yet we stop. That's a big yet we stop. And many of us stop because we fear failure. I mean, according to a survey, I came across, I started doing some research on this because failure is the main reason we just don't move forward with our goals, or we stop in our tracks and we say that's it. I wanted to kind of dive into, well, what are some statistics behind it? So according to a survey given by the Wealth Research Group, 98% of people die without achieving their dreams. 98%. And the number one reason that they didn't achieve their goals was because they felt it was too hard. And that fear of whatever, how hard it was, the fear of that failure, it's too hard, I'm going to fail at it, kept them from achieving that dream, achieving that goal. And I read another article when I went down this rabbit hole, and it listed the top 5 reasons that people give up on their dreams or goals. And one of them is because people often see one single failure as the end of all things. One single failure, not like multiple failures, it's time to give up. Maybe I need to do something different. One single failure is, quote, the end of all things, end quote. So, if you incorporate anything new into how you approach this new year into 2024 and the rest of your life, how you approach the rest of your life, I hope it is that you no longer fear failure. And why is that? Well, failure is a part of life. It's inevitable. 100% of us will fail at something in our lives. And knowing that, if we know that it's inevitable, why does failure strike fear into so many of our hearts? Not just a quick, you know, glance of fear or a quick run through of fear of our hearts. No, I mean, it stays and it walks around. And it does a lot of damage to the point that we just give up on those dreams and those goals and the action that we need to take. Maybe you've gone to the point you even started the action on that dream or goal, but something stopped you. And the fear of that failure, whatever it might be, is keeping you from going back to it. Because we so often make failure mean more than what it really does. And this goes back to what I said a few minutes ago about the top 5 reasons of why people give up on their dreams, and the fact that failure, the fear of failure, is in the top 5. It is because so many people allow and believe that one single failure means that this is the end, or they feel like it's just too hard, I'm going to fail. And you don't know that. So they don't even try because of fear of failure. That it must mean that it isn't meant to be, or they're just not cut out for it. I've listened to myself in the past. I've tried things and I failed at it. This is even bigger than that. Why would I even try that? Or maybe you did try it and maybe you failed a little, maybe you failed a lot. Maybe a lot of people noticed, maybe hardly anyone noticed, but yet that fear, that failure that is just resting in your heart, that's resting in your soul, that is resting in your mind has told you, no, don't try it again. Don't do it again. You'll just fail again. And what I have to say to that is, so what? So what? Bring on the failure, embrace the failure, right? Friends, failure has so much wisdom woven into it. Does it mean that it feels great to fail? Does it mean that you get the warm and fuzzies when failure decides to pay you a visit? Not at all. It can be hard to walk through. It can be frustrating at times. It can be gut wrenching. And I'm not by any chance, I hope you know, like trying to bypass that and just say, oh, it's not uncomfortable at all. Fear is uncomfortable. It is frustrating. It is gut wrenching. Oh, it can be overwhelming. But the next time that you fail at something, whether it be something that you see as monumental or meager, you will gain so much wisdom from it if you are intentional about learning from it. You can either see it as a total loss because it didn't go how you had hoped, or you can become better, wiser, and even mentally stronger from it, maybe even physically stronger from it, depending on what that goal, that dream was of yours. So you might be thinking, okay, this is great, but how do I become intentional? How do I stop all the craziness and all the chaos that comes with failure and all the loudness that just tells me all the negative things that roll into my mind? How do I become intentional, Carrie? So, how you become intentional, how do you catch yourself from diving into that river of misery, from sitting in it and letting it take you for a spin? Well, you have to embrace all the feelings that come with failure. It is okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Those emotions come with the territory with failure. It's just a part of it. So focus on how you see failure. You know how you're feeling it. So, how do you see failure now? Okay, so I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad, whatever it might be. How do you see failure? Are you telling yourself that I should have known better to even just try? Who do I think I am? Of course it ended up like this because it always does, because nothing ever goes right for me. Who do I think I am for even trying such a thing? It just isn't in my DNA, or my family just doesn't ever do this. I don't come from a home where people tried these things and they win. They always failed. Failure's just written all the things. How are you seeing failure? Really pay attention to these thoughts that are coming in. And they might be very sneaky because you might have had some of them then for so long, it's just normal to you. Pay close attention to your self talk. What are you telling yourself? Are you making it mean more than what it really is? I mean, this failure, are you making it mean like your entire life was a failure? That your mom's life, your dad's life, going back to great great grandparents, it's just all a bunch of failures and that's just how you are? Is that what you're making it mean? Or does it just mean that you tried something, it didn't quite work out how you wanted, and it's okay to not feel so great about it? And if you aren't sure of all the things that you've been telling yourself, all the things that you've been saying, all that self talk, then this is when you begin to journal. Grab a piece of paper, grab an old spiral that you found in the closet, whatever. Write it down and write down every negative thought that you've had about it. Pull them out. Put light on it. Shine light on them. I always think it's like they're little cockroaches and they like to hide in the dark and they like to do damage and multiply and they're just gross and disgusting. But when you shine light on them, they want to run. No, we're going to bring all this stuff out into the open and we're going to expose it. Write it down. Write down every negative thought that you have had about it. And it is good. You need to recognize what you are saying to yourself. Even the thoughts that don't seem too bad, well, it's just a little negative self talk, they can still wreak havoc on your ability to pull insight, to gain wisdom from it. This is how you are intentional with failure. And even if you have a past failure from long ago, and maybe you're still allowing that past failure to whisper doubt and fear into your heart, you can still learn from it by doing this, by listening to all the self talk you've been telling yourself for all these years. And by doing this, you can quiet that fear. You can quiet that doubt, no matter how long you've been listening to it. Looking failure in the face and seeing it as a part of your journey. Not like, oh, well, it wasn't supposed to happen. This should not have happened. I should not have failed. No, welcome and realizing it when you put yourself out there to go after a goal, after a dream, to do something that you just haven't done before or you've been thinking about for a long time. This is a part of the journey. And recognizing that will enable you to see failure as normal, as a normal part of life rather than an obstacle and rather that is something strange and odd. No, this is a part of it. This will allow you to keep trying at things, to reach for your dream, to go after the goals. Maybe you want to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go after that same goal or dream again. Or maybe you realize, well, I thought that was my dream. I thought that was my goal. And I went out there, I put myself on a limb, and it was pretty scary. And I never thought I could do it. But I'm shifting over this way now to this other thing. And because I tried that, that was a pretty monumental. I know I can do this now. I can do these hard things. I can do these things that used to scare me and stop me in my tracks that I never thought possible of myself. This is where that wisdom from fear comes in. And this is what can happen if you are intentional with how you see fear. Friends, is important to do. It is important to realize this because you have a God given gift. Well, you have God given gifts, plural, that are going to push you outside of your comfort zone if you lean into them. If you really do what God sees, the ability that he sees that you have to do, all these things that when he wove you together in your mother's womb, and he said, this person is going to have this talent and this talent and this ability and this ability, and they just lean into them. It's going to be a little bit scary. They're going to have these goals and dreams that they might think are crazy or others are crazy, or maybe they're just like, I never thought I'd be going down this road, but this is a part of it. These are God given gifts, and they're going to push you outside of your comfort zone. You have purposes that God needs you to play out. And if you are afraid of failure, you will not show up the way that He created you to be. The enemy, he wants this. The enemy will keep you hiding in the shadow of fear because the enemy knows your gifts. The enemy knows your talents. He knows your purposes, and he does not want you to keep trying. He does not want you to gain wisdom and use your gifts in this world. He wants you to see that one single failure is like, that is it. You should quit. Who are you to think you are the person that could do this? That is where the enemy wants to keep you in the shadows, keep you in the cold, keep you full of fear. Because if he keeps you there, you're not going to do these incredible things that God made you to do. And that scares the enemy. I mean, failure, it might be scary, but it is still a teacher. It's an incredible teacher. So I hope you go into 2024 deciding that failure, it is just a normal part of life. Failure means that you are living and that you are trying, and that failure is just a part of your story, a part of it, not the entire story, but a part of it. It is a part of mine, but it's not the only part of my story, and it's not the only part of yours. And if you're interested, and if you are interested in working with me and learning more about this, if you're not quite sure how to extinguish the fear of failure, how to embrace it, come work with me either one-on-one. I have one-on-one coaching spots available right now, or you can join my group coaching program that starts at the end of January. It is a 4-week group coaching program called Unleashed, and it's going to be incredible. Spots are filling up, so go reserve your spot now. It is we meet on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I would love to see you in there, or message me about one-on-one coaching. Whatever you feel you want to know more about, I would love to hear from you. You can go to the link in my bio or in the show notes here and find out more. And I would love to help you dissolve the fear of failure, to step into being the woman of God that He created you to be. He created you to be this way. We just got to find out how ways for you to step into it and to help you create a life that you yearn for. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. Until next time.